am so excited today to be here with one of my favourite people, Emily Wheeler, who is the founder of Furnishing Futures. Today I'm going to be having a chat with Emily about how she started the charity and also about the amazing space that we're currently sitting in, which is the Atrium. And we're going to be taking you behind the scenes into, you'll hear a lot of noises going on as well throughout the episode, unwanted noises, into the warehouse to show you behind the scenes of what really goes on, what it takes to bring these homes to life. Hi Emily.
Hi Jojo.
I love seeing you. It's always so nice to see you.
Me too.
Thanks for talking to me today.
Thank you
And
for coming.
I really want to share your story with everyone because I know your story, but I want more people to know about your story. So how did it all start?
I always dreamed of doing something like this. I was a social worker for a long time. I worked in children's services and I was very acutely aware of the impact of poverty and housing on the families that I worked with. But my other passion in life has always been interiors, and I took a break from social work, trained at the same place as you at KLC to do interior design, and spent a good few years working as an interiors writer and stylist. And when I went back into social work, I was really struck by how difficult things were for families, and particularly the number of mothers, single mothers, who were living in homes without any furniture. I think I'd always wanted to do something to support people with their environment. So when I was a young social worker, I always used to want to do something about the children's residential homes and the places that I used to go and visit children in. And when I eventually started the charity, it was really as a response to the situation of a number of women I met who were fleeing domestic abuse and then finding themselves being offered completely empty flats with no flooring, no cooker, no fridge, no curtains, no beds, and just thinking about how profoundly that affected them, but also realising that I had the skills and contacts and experience to do something about it.
You shared a photo with me of the back of it was I think you had a little, a garage, was it a garage, a lock-up?
I think that might, yeah.
And it was like crammed full of like furniture, like bits and bobs and rugs and like side tables and things. And then you would literally drive your car from A to B to pick up things in the back of your car, and then you'd go and pick something up, all to just furnish one home for one woman. And it could take sometimes weeks on your own.
Yeah.
And you were pulling in all the help that you could get. And that was in your spare time around working full time and being a mum.
Yeah.
Which is just,
children.
It's so inspirational. It was just, I couldn't believe it. What was the very first home that you ever did yourself? The very first home you ever did, by yourself?
Gosh, I think the first home I ever worked on was for a woman who had fled domestic abuse, and she had been given a completely empty house, and she had 4 children under the age of 7. And she was living there with nothing in the kitchen, nowhere to sit in the living room. They didn't have beds or curtains or anything at all, really. And so for that home, because it was the first one that I worked on, I went onto Facebook groups and asked people to donate furniture and went around picking it up. Okay, so all this stuff is in my kitchen at the moment. It looks a bit of a mess, but there is logic to it. These are the amazing donations that I've been given. And I also talked on my Instagram page about what I was doing, and at the time I had a lot of followers for being a stylist. And I suddenly started talking about this other work that I was doing. But that was helpful because I was followed by a lot of other stylists and designers, and people were very generous and kind. And even for that home right at the very beginning, there were a couple of interior designers who I knew who sent me things like a painting for the wall, or I can't remember, like I think a shelving unit, like a few things like that. And so I was able to furnish this home completely from donations. And the family were really overwhelmed by the support, and it made a huge difference to this mum who was, you know, really in an impossible situation, struggling to start again with such young children under difficult circumstances. And it was really incredible to be able to do that for her. And the first few homes were like that. They look very different to the homes that we create now, because obviously I was relying on whatever I could get, really, as long as it was, you know, safe and in good enough condition. But the impact on the families was really profound, and it was very moving. And so I knew from the feedback from them that this was something that was needed. And I also knew from my work as a stylist and a designer how much waste there is in the industry, and how much, you know, sort of surplus product there is that goes out on press shoots or on projects or whatever. So I also knew that that could work as a model, that I could partner with people in the interiors industry, and that we could solve that issue of all of the stuff going into landfill or going to waste, or, you know, not being needed, to give it to people who really did need it, and how it would transform their lives. And so that was how the sort of model came about that we now work to. And obviously now we work with all these amazing companies, designers, studios, artists who donate the furniture and the accessories that go into the homes. And we have a full team of professional designers, well, 2, but, you know, they do an incredible job of professionally designing these homes to a very high standard now.
This is actually a really good example, isn't it, of what a floor really looks like. And actually that's painted, but that's showing before and after, isn't it?
So this is a home that was given to a woman who had just had a baby, and she'd been moved a long way to get away from her abusive partner into this flat. And she was given a flat with absolutely, no floor coverings and no furniture. And actually when we first met her, her and her baby were sleeping on a sleeping bag on the floor.
Oh my gosh.
And this was the home after we transformed it. So yeah, we were able to put down carpets and put all of the furniture in, and, you know, help her with a cooker, a fridge, a washing machine, and a proper nursery for her baby, which was really beautiful, but we don't have a picture of it here. But she had a lovely nursery in the end for her baby, so that was really nice.
The difference.
Again, this was given to a mum with a young child. When she turned the key and got into this home, which she'd waited so long for, she went through a really long, protracted process of being in a refuge and going to lots of different temporary accommodation, sleeping on someone's sofa. So she was so excited when she got the flat, and then she opened the door and it was absolutely filthy. It smelled of damp. It had obviously been empty for a long time. There were sort of brown stains all up the doors and walls. It was really quite shocking. And she felt absolutely devastated because she just didn't know. She didn't know how she was going to do it with her child. So
that's actually one of my favourite.
Yeah, her flat was beautiful.
I know it's so simple, but it's just so calming, and I just
Well, she was so lovely to work with, and she actually had quite clear ideas about how she wanted her home to be, and she loved cream and she loved wood, and she wanted
in touch with the women.
Yeah, so she's actually become like an ambassador for us. So she speaks at private events, because obviously we have to protect her identity, but she'll come and speak to, you know, like politicians and decision makers with us, and tell them about her experience and why this work is so important. Because after we supported her, she went on to be able to get a first in her midwifery degree,
Wow.
which she attributes to having the support with her home, and she's now a practicing midwife.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. So when we design homes for these women, we actually take a brief and we treat them like clients, because I think it's giving them that respect, isn't it? You've decided that, which I think is so lovely, because you've come from an interior design background, you don't just see this as a home, you see the person that's going to be living in the home, and you take a brief from that person and from that woman and understand what she needs, what colours she likes, the things that, like, you can probably explain that very well. I've heard you talk about it before, but what is trauma-informed design and why is it so important?
It means designing a space that will soothe the nervous system and not trigger a trauma response. So obviously all of the families and the women that we've worked with have been through really terrible traumatic experiences, and we want to create homes that make them feel safe first and foremost. And so we will try to understand what will make them feel safe, and that's different for each person. And then we'll design according to what they need and like. And that's really important because we don't want to impose what we think someone should have. You know, they've got to live in this home, and it feels very disempowering if you're just given things from a charity and expected to be grateful. We want to create homes where people feel that they've had some kind of agency and some control over what goes into their home, because home is so personal and everybody responds in different ways to different colours, different shapes, different textures or art. So we try to work as closely as possible with each woman and her children to create a home that feels like their home, that feels like somewhere that they can open the door, walk in and think, oh, I'm home, this feels like me, I'm safe here. And so definitely giving some element of choice is really important in that.
A good example of that is one of the homes that we helped you with, and we as designers think that the colour teal and light neutrals and greens are all very, biophilic colours, they're very calming. But actually for a lot of these women who have come from, a lot of them have spent a huge amount of time in hospitals, and the colours that they use in hospitals are therefore the opposite of what they want to be bringing into their homes, because they actually see it as a colour that reminds them of quite a traumatic period of their life. And I found that so interesting when I started doing this with you, because actually one of the homes we worked on, she loved black, didn't she? She wanted like black and white and purple, completely the opposite to what we would have recommended. But those are the colours that she felt that she wanted in her home.
Yeah, no, it is really interesting because our brain makes associations, and often those spaces. It's interesting because they've tried to decorate those spaces to feel calming. So there's often that sort of lilac colour and a kind of minty green and a pale blue and pale green in hospital settings or any of those kind of institutions. But actually, if you spend a lot of time in those places having a negative experience, then you start to associate those colours with that trauma. So yeah, it is really interesting how our brains work, and so we're very mindful of that and trying to give people choice, and also trying to make sure that their home feels like them and it feels safe for them.
Okay, we are in the warehouse. This is literally where the magic happens.
Where it all happens.
Where it all happens. Tell me, from the first phone call, what are the steps from taking it from to a finished home from first call?
Every survivor is referred to us through a sort of proper referral process. We have a referral form and referral criteria, and we work with referral partners who are specialist domestic abuse agencies. So we work with lots of other organisations that are supporting women to escape domestic abuse. And then when they identify that that woman needs support with her home, they get in touch with us and send a referral over. So we assess all of those, and then our team will make contact with that woman and just establish that she does want to work with us, find out a bit more about what she needs, what kind of accommodation she's in, and then we'll arrange to go and do a site visit, make sure that we understand, the property and how she would like it to be. And then the team come back here and start to put the home together. So at any one time, we might have up to 16 homes open that we're working on, but we'll be working on them kind of at different stages. So So it's very busy. So here we have all our tools and things for fixing stuff and equipment for packing things safely for transport and things for children's rooms. And this whole area is basically separated into bays. So as a home comes together from the warehouse, the items for each home will be put over here, ready to go out through the shutter in a removal van, basically. So this is kind of the end of the process, and all of the furniture and the things that go into the homes are over in the racking. So
this takes me back to my days of working at the London Furnishing Company, because we used to do show homes.
Yes.
And we would have like racks like this of all the big furniture, and then you'd get your big items first, and then work down to all your accessories.
Yeah.
And then you pull it all out and you create your homes.
Yeah.
But this is why it's essential. We've got to constantly replenish this stock, and this is why we desperately need donations of furniture and accessories, cushions, rugs, artwork.
Anything for a home.
For
Light bulbs, absolutely everything. So yeah, the donations come in and the volunteers sort them and put them on the inventory, and then the large items, so these are all beds. This is our bed storage, and everything goes on our inventory. And then over there we have sofas, armchairs, dining tables, dining chairs, everything on proper warehouse racking, rugs, cushions, and down there at the end where our amazing volunteers are working are all things like vases, baskets, storage, so absolutely anything. But yeah, no, we don't have a partner for removals, so we have to fundraise to cover that, because everything has to be done safely and properly, and it's a lot of work to carry all of the furniture for a home, often up and down stairs, in and out of lifts and so on. So, yeah, we do include in our fundraising the cost of warehousing, the cost of professional removal services, but we also rely on volunteers to help in the warehouse, and then we have our sort of staff who are properly trained to support survivors, who are the ones actually putting the homes together.
That's so sweet. That was yours, wasn't it?
It was mine, yeah.
That was the boys, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then a volunteer painted it, and we took it to Decorex to show an empty home. And it was so sweet. She was a student. She spent ages working on it.
So lovely. I love that. Okay. Right. So how many, at the moment, how many homes this past year, I know the answer to this, how many homes have we furnished and finished this, well, let's say the last 12 months?
Yeah, so we fully furnished 80 homes.
80 homes.
Yeah, in the last year, which was a huge leap for us, because the year before it was 48.
Okay.
So we're kind of doubling year on year as fast as we can.
What do you need more of to be able to help more women?
Yeah, well, when you think that we completed 80 homes last year, we work in London, and we think that there are somewhere between 6,000 and 10,000 women experiencing this. It's really a drop in the ocean. So we really want to grow and scale and expand to be able to support more people. We want to be able to complete around 140 this year. So we're really pushing ourselves as much as we can to do more, but we really need more furniture. So obviously, if you think about the amount of furniture and things that go into any one home, and we're doing everything, so we provide all of the furniture, the cushions, the bed linen, the pots, the pans, the cutlery, everything that could go in, that's a large amount for any one home, and then we're doing that multiple times, so we definitely need more product and funding as well.
With the furniture, because I think this is a really important point, and so many people reach out to me and say, I've got a bed, I've got a toddler bed, I've got this, I'd love to donate it. Explain the reason that you can't take furniture necessarily that's second-hand or being used, so it still has to be in very good condition.
Yes.
What is the reason for that?
Well, the primary reason is that the point of what we're doing is to make families feel valued and to raise the women's self-esteem, because survivors of domestic abuse often feel very sort of abandoned, and they've lost their confidence, and they often feel like, you know, nobody cares about them because the system that they're in doesn't make them feel valued. So we want to show them how important they are by giving them nice things. We think that these families deserve to have things in in perfect condition. And if you get something that's scratched or marked or stained, and you've already feel bad about yourself, it doesn't make you feel good. It doesn't make you feel like somebody cares about you. So the main reason is that we want the families to feel valued and feel like they deserve to have nice things. That's a big part of recovery and building your confidence and self-esteem. It's also to do with health and safety. So we have to have very strict rules around, you know, the quality of the products and the items that we put into homes. And it's also just about practicality as a very small charity. So we're based here in East London, and we don't run vans around picking things up. We're not anywhere near the size of somewhere like, you know, some of the bigger furniture charities that you might know of. We can't collect things. So we've developed a model where we work with the industry, which still enables us to have like a circular economy and an environmental impact, because a lot of brands have things that they can't use, but they deliver them to us, and that means that we can give families really beautiful new things that are going to last them, not have to be replaced, and are going to make them feel, you know, more positive about the future.
So, talk to me about where we're sitting now, which is the Atrium, which is somewhere I know you're incredibly proud of, as am I. Tell us what and how this started.
So the Atrium is a space that really kind of reflects our values. So we designed it to be as kind of biophilic and nurturing as possible. It's a space where we can engage with our supporters and people interested in our work and tell them what we do, but it's first and foremost a fundraising space for us. So the companies and brands that we work with have very kindly donated everything that's in here. We have a shop, and everything that's sold, every penny raised, goes straight back into the charity to support the families. And we also hold workshops and events here that are really focused on supporting well-being and talking about these issues, so sort of social justice issues, design and so on, so that we can have like in-person conversations with people who support us. So anyone who's interested in supporting the charity can come down to the Atrium, buy something beautiful for their home, know that that item, that purchase is supporting a family who really need it, or come along to a yoga session, or learn to do framing, or come to an interesting talk, and everything that we raise here goes straight back into the charity.
Amazing. So that is it for now. Tomorrow, me and my House 9 team are going to be actually installing one of the homes for one of these women. So we'll take you on a journey of that experience as well. So thank you so much for inviting us here and letting us.
Thank you for everything, Jojo.
Thank you.
It's amazing.
Thank you. That was nice to see you. You too, my darling.
Okay, if we've got cushions, we've got a duvet.
You just need to avoid out the window, yeah?
Yeah, if anything can be shot at the
Yeah.
wall as much as possible, that's
Don't worry.
amazing.
I had to do a dash to Sainsbury's this morning to get
I was saying to we were me and Lucy were voice noting this morning. She was like, okay, I'm just going to go to the high street, but get a hacksaw.
Yeah.
Like 8:30 this morning. If that's very life of designer, isn't it?
Yeah, what? Life of designer.
Don't you? Hi! I'm good, how are you? Welcome.
Nice to see you. Me and the House 9 team are at the Furnishing Futures social housing project. We were given this project 2 weeks ago, so we've had 2 weeks to fully prepare everything from furnishings to white goods to beds to artwork to accessories for this one-day install. It's a little bit like, you can imagine, like changing rooms. It's madness, but we've got the lady coming back this afternoon, which so she'll be walking into a fully dressed home. I'm going to show you the complete transformation of what is possible when we all pull together, which is exactly what's happened, to make little pockets, these little sanctuaries come to life, to really make a difference and change someone's life.